So if you're running a business here in the UAE, I bet this sounds familiar. You pour a ton of money into advertising, and you are absolutely sure that this is the time your sales are finally going to explode.
You hit that launch button, and you're feeling on top of the world, right? You're thinking, okay, this is it. This is the one. You can practically hear the cha-ching of the sales notifications already.
And then, what happens? Absolutely nothing. Just crickets. The only thing that moves is your bank balance, and it's going in the wrong direction. Look, if that story hits a little too close to home, you are definitely not alone. And the reason why is probably way simpler than you think.
All right, let's get right into it because we have to talk about the one big misunderstanding that costs businesses an absolute fortune. Here's the deal. Advertising is not magic. It doesn't just, poof, create sales out of nowhere. All it is an amplifier.
And let's be real, an amplifier just turns up the volume on whatever you've already got. So if you have a fantastic system, a killer offer, ads are going to make that louder. You'll get more customers, you'll make more money. But, and this is the painful part, if your system is a mess, ads are just going to amplify your mistakes. You'll just lose money, only faster. It's really that black and white.
So, when we see those Instagram ads tanking here in the UAE, it's not some big, complicated puzzle. Honestly, like 90% of the time, it comes down to one of three really simple but, ruthless reasons.
All right, number one, this is the big one. You think your brand is the offer. You're basically out there saying, hey, buy our stuff because we're us, we're great. That's not an offer, my friend. That's just confidence. And last I checked, confidence doesn't pay the rent.
I mean, think about it. The UAE market is crazy competitive. Nobody is buying from you just to be nice. They're asking one question: what's in it for me? If you can't answer that and answer it fast, like in 7 seconds, you've lost. Simple as that. Okay, so that leads us right into reason number 2. You're running these ads, but who are you even talking to? Seriously, if your answer is something like, everyone, you are making a huge mistake.
And you have to get this. Trying to target everyone from 18 to 65 in Dubai doesn't make you a smart marketer. It makes you a very generous donor to Mark Zuckerberg's wallet. You're just handing Meta your money. You have to know exactly who you're selling to. What do they want? What keeps them up at night? And that brings us to the third and final piece of the puzzle. Let's say you've got a great offer. You know your customer inside and out. Awesome. But where are you sending them? You're paying for all this traffic, and if you're just dumping them on your homepage, well, you might as well be sending them to a dead end. You've got no system, no sales funnel, no way to bring them back if they leave, and no CRM to even know what's going on. It really is like trying to fill a bucket that's got a massive hole in the bottom. You're paying for every single one of those clicks, every person who visits, and then you're just watching them vanish into thin air because you have no way to capture them, to follow up, to see what's actually working. All that money you're pouring in the top is just leaking right out the bottom.
All right, so that's a lot about what's going wrong. Enough of that. Let's talk about how to get it right. Because this isn't just theory. I want to show you a real, concrete example of what happens when you actually build the system properly.
What does success actually look like in the real world? Well, it looks like a machine, a predictable, profitable machine. No more guessing, no more crossing your fingers and hoping. Let's just look at the cold, hard numbers from a campaign we ran.
Okay, first up, the ad spend, $43.25. That's it. I mean, that's probably less than you'd spend on a decent brunch in Dubai, right? And now for the result. Over $732 in revenue. And listen, this wasn't luck, this wasn't a fluke. This was the direct result of having the right system in place.
Do the math on that. That's a 17 times return on investment. Let that sink in. For every single dollar we put in, $17 came back out. That is what I mean when I say you're amplifying a good system. So you're probably wondering, how did we do it? Well, it wasn't a single magic bullet. It was a 4-part machine working together. First, we had a locomotive product, something really easy to buy, low cost but high value, so it's a no-brainer for a new customer. Second, we created a super clear, really strong offer around it. Third, we built a simple sales funnel. Either they'd buy or they'd get retargeted with another ad automatically. And finally, and this is key, a CRM was in place to automate the follow-up for repeat sales. Because the real money is made on the second, third, and fourth purchase. And I want to be crystal clear here. This isn't magic. It's not some secret marketing voodoo. It's just a smart, strategic system that's been calculated to work. Okay,
So what can you take away from all this for your own business? It's simple, really. You have to stop thinking of advertising as step one. It's not. It's the last step. Here's the actual blueprint you should be following.
And look, the order here is everything. Don't skip steps. You start by finding that locomotive product and creating an amazing offer. That's your fuel. Then you build the engine, your sales funnel, and your CRM system. And only then, once the entire machine is built and ready to go, only then do you turn on the amplifier, the ads. If you do it in any other order, you are just setting yourself up to burn cash.
So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. Take a really honest look at your business. When you run ads, are you amplifying profit, or are you just amplifying your problems? Are you pouring fuel on a fire to grow it, or are you just making the holes in your bucket bigger? Because honestly, the answer to that question changes everything.